What's going on, people of YouTube, all the dope people that been subscribing? How are y'all today? I know it's been a long time since I put a video out, my bad, but I'm gonna try to be more consistent moving forward. A lot of stuff going on, music, podcasts, filming, skits, all type of stuff, and just got a little sidetracked, my bad. Thank you for all the new subscribers I've been getting a lot of new subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna do a follow-up to the last video I put out. I know a lot of people was wondering what happened with Amuse and DistroKid. I'm gonna give y'all another update and let y'all know what happened with that. Think y'all will be surprised. So stay tuned for that. Today, I'm gonna be doing a video about mixing, little tips, you know, that I picked up over the years that really help your mix to sound a lot better. A lot of people know about these tips, but a lot of people don't, because I've been seeing it, and I got a lot of friends on Facebook and stuff like that, and their music is not bad music. They can actually rap. They got the right concepts, but it's their mixing, and they're doing it a lot on their own. So this video is kind of to help the home studio rappers who didn't go to school or don't know how to mix and stuff like that. You know, and my mixes aren't perfect, of course, compared to somebody who's been doing this for 50 years and they went to AIU and stuff like, you know, I don't know. No shots taken, but I do have some tips that I can give to help. Starting with gain staging. That's like the main thing that I see people overlooking all the time. Gain staging. Making sure your sounds are going into the mixer at a optimal level, at a even level. Everything is going into the mixer at the same volume, same level. I don't know too much about how other programs and DAWs, how their mix knobs work and their trim knobs and things like that, but I know Fruity Loops has several knobs. They work in succession with each other. Like, you got a volume knob inside of each channel, then you got the volume knob on the side of the channels. So, you know, you can definitely get all your sounds going into the mixer at an optimal volume. So that's the first thing. So I got this little crappy pattern I just made real quick right before I turned the camera on. Right, so the first thing I would do, see, I kind of do this as I go when I'm making songs or making a beat or something, but for this tutorial, the first thing I would do is solo the kick. And I got everything in this channels already, so the kick is in 1. And what I'm gonna do is make sure the kick is hitting at 12, which it already is. I want everything to kind of hit at 12 or around 12, as close as you can get it, because sometimes instruments fluctuate. So I got the kick around 12. Next instrument is gonna be the clap. And I'm using this trim knob or channel volume knob because that's the knob that affects pre-mixer with Fruity Loops. A lot of programs don't have this built in. Some do have it built in. You just got to find it. But I don't know much about other programs. I just really know Fruity Loops and I know Studio One. They both have it. Yeah, so the clap is coming in real hot. So you just bring the clap down to where it's at 12. Right, so now the kick and the clap are both coming in the mixer at the same level. Now we have the hi-hat. All right, now we have the hi-hat. Next sound is gonna be the crash. I just added this in here to have. I wouldn't have this crash in here like this. It's really annoying, I ain't gonna lie. So the crash. And this could get annoying, I promise you. But if you stick with it, your mixes are gonna sound cleaner. They're gonna sound better overall. So, all right, now we got this crash at -12 Last thing is this rim. All right. So now we have all the sounds gain staged. Right? Everything's coming in at the best level possible. Now, the next thing I would do is I would pan things where I want them to be panned. You know, sometimes you want the hi-hat to be panned a little. You want, whatever you want to be panned. So I'm going to pan this rim to the right a little bit. Hi-hat. That hi-hat seemed like it was already panned, so I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to pan the rim to the left. And then I'm going to pan this crash a little bit to the left and leave the clap and the kick down the middle. Right, so now we got that. The next thing I'm going to be listening for is if anything is clashing. That's where EQs come into play. So, let's see. There's nothing clashing here. But if it was, let's say I got this clap and it's clashing with my kick. So I'm going to go ahead in here and put an EQ on it, right? Now, I'm going to high pass it to where it's not clashing with my kick. Now, if you pay attention, now my clap has gotten super duper loud. Right? My clap has gotten loud. So what I do is I go ahead and bring it back down using this knob on the plug-in. If there's a gain output knob or a gain knob or a trim knob on your plug-in, use that to bring it back down. Right? Okay, so now I brought it back down to 12. Now, after I do that, let's say I do this to all my instruments. I got EQs on everything. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo it. Mixing and solo. If I think everybody knows this. They got this from Mixed by Ali. He mixes in solo. But what it does is if you get something to sound good in solo, it's going to sound amazing in stereo. So, and it also, once you have all the sounds right down the middle, you can kind of tell what sounds are fighting with each other and clashing. And now you can bring them up and down. So, what I'm going to do now is listen to this in solo, see if anything stands out. I want my kick to remain at -12, and then I want to build everything else around that. So, once I done EQ'd out everything that's clashing with each other in the stereo field, now I'm going to solo it and see what's clashing with each other in the mono field, if that makes any sense. And it's like I said, because I chose this and no instruments involved, nothing's really clashing, but I would solo my kick. Okay. And any movements you make on these knobs shouldn't be like huge movements. You know what I'm saying? That's why when sometimes you see people's mixers, some are just barely nudged, and then you see other people's mixers and you got some way down here and some way up. It's because they didn't gain stage. And so any movement shouldn't be like crazy movements. Unless you got this sound, which I really don't like. I'm gonna turn it all the way down. But if you look on the mixer, there's notches here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, once you start going outside of these notches, that's when you got a problem. That's when something's not right. You need to go back and reevaluate the sound, the gain, the plugin you put on it. You need to go back and reevaluate that. So and once you do this, it's gonna sound like, oh, my 808s ain't knocking, or my kick ain't knocking. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna fix that in mastering. You're gonna fix that with, limiters and compressors on the master, things like that. Not the Fruity compressor or the Sound Goodizer. Please don't use that. Please. Now, if you see my master is hitting at around -9. I got headroom now. I got headroom for an instrument and my vocals to go on there and blend in well. Not to mention, I didn't add any compressors or anything like that. I feel like that's another thing people are overdoing with the compression. A lot of these sounds have already been compressed from these packs. So when you get them and you compress them more and you do too much stuff to them, that's going to make the sounds, you're going to transfer it into a whole nother sound, or you're going to squash it with the compressor. So that's something to be mindful of when adding EQs and compression. Sometimes it's better just to change the sound altogether, or figure out where you went wrong with the gain staging and stuff like that. So now my master is hitting at 9, lots of headroom, like I said. What I also like to do is make sure my kicks are mono. Now, I can take this off. And we're good. So that's pretty much, the tips that I want to give people when mixing your own music, and you're not like a mix engineer or you've never done this before. These tips will make your mixes sound a whole lot better, I promise you. I'll put out another video on what I like to put on my master channel. And this stuff has all been tested. The best test, I think, is to take it to the car and, listen to it in the car, compare it with other established artists who have been doing this for a while. That's the best test. And once you master it, take it to the car and listen to it, you're like, oh, I'm good. Like, my stuff is competing with theirs. My old mixes used to sound really muddy, loud, crazy, and now they're sounding more tight and better since I've started. Gain staging was the first thing. Second, my plugins that I put on my sounds, make sure that you bring them back to where you gain staged them at, and mixing mono. And then once you get something sounding good, just forget that you got it in mono. Mix in mono. Once you get it sounding good in mono, take that mono off, and then you should be all right. Everything should sound great. Everything from there would be mastering, and that's a whole nother video. So thank y'all for watching. I hope I helped out the people who are trying to get this done at home by themselves with no help, no engineers or anything like that. Stay tuned for all the videos I got coming up in the future, and I appreciate y'all for watching. I really, really do. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video.
Bitch, don't worry if I write raps. I cash checks. I don't hang around a lot of people. Too much flex. What you lying to a nigga for? We just met. I just